Hello, hello, everybody. It's Sonia here with Fresh Approach Fitness, a wellness company. Thank you so very much for joining us on this rainy Sunday afternoon. We are heading into episode number 17. Wow, right? July 19th, 2020, even that in itself. Wow. I know. I say that every week. That's okay. Part of my charm. I just appreciate how quickly time goes by when you're having fun. And I hope you do too. I hope you have enough fun built into your day-to-day right now that it is going by so quick. Do you remember when we were younger and it used to take forever for certain parts of the year, like our birthdays or Christmas or vacation or the last day of school to come up? And then now it's like, wow, don't blink. And I'm sure most of you listening have had kids. Again, the 9 months took forever. We never thought we were going to get there. And then we get there in what? You fast forward 19 years and they're gone and moved out. And it's like, oh no. But through the time, you don't know how you're getting through it. I'm really here to help coach and guide you along the way. You know, we're going to lock arms. I'm going to be your best friend that you can reach out to at any single time and share with me what's working and what's not working. And I will give you some tips and some tricks and let you know some of my resources that's in my toolbox and as well what's working for me and what's working for some of my clients. Today is all about upgrading and elevating the way you think. I'm looking forward to sharing this with you in a bunch of different details. There are so many different tools and resources to help you upgrade and elevate the way you think. But before we get started, I want to hear from you. It's been 16 weeks of episodes where I've been reaching out and sharing different stories, different tidbits, different resources to each and every single one of you. And I've gotten some great feedback, I have received some wonderful feedback. However, what's working? What have you applied? I would love to hear what's working for you and what is it that you have listened to, you have liked, and you have applied into your life. Reach out to me at asksonia.ca. That's probably the easiest. And you'll see my social media platforms are connected on that landing page. And you can reach out to me anytime, or you can reply to this podcast as well and let me know what is it over the 16 weeks that you have liked the most? What is it that you have applied to your day-to-day? And speaking of upgrading and elevating the way you think, I have some exciting news to share. Over the next couple months, you're going to hear some guest speakers, people I have aligned with in terms of bringing you additional value and resources to these podcasts. I think it's great when we can collaborate as a powerhouse and offer you even more stories, more resources, more techniques that you can apply to your day-to-day life. And that's what these collaborations are all about. Essentially, I'm thinking it's going to be once a month, and it very well might move to twice a month if the format of these podcasts change. But for now, there'll be a guest speaker on average once a month starting in August. So that's very exciting news. And I hope you're looking forward to it as much as I am. All right, you ready? Grab your pen and paper. We're going to talk today about upgrading and elevating the way you think. And the reason why this has become a topic for me is I assess the work that I do regularly. I assess my budget regularly. I assess my Creative Collections habit tracker, which you've heard me talk about more than once, regularly. I assess the people in my life regularly. Not good or bad. You know, when it comes to people and even the budget and even the habit tracker, this isn't a good or bad. There is no feelings associated with the assessment. Where am I? It's as simple as that. It's a snapshot in time. Where am I? Am I counting my food and my calories? Am I tracking all of that because I'm on track? I'm on goal towards reaching my destiny. Am I where I need to be? Am I where I need to be financially? You know, or am I behind on anything? Or is there somewhere I need to redirect my focus? And believe it or not, that's the same thing with my friendships. I've had friends in my life since I was in grade 9, and we're still really, really, really good friends today. I've had friends in my life that I have met last week that are really good friends because we are connected. So as you're listening to today's podcast, open yourself up do a little bit of an intention to just receive new information. When we set ourselves up for the ability to receive new information, we're not walking in with the mindset that we already know it. We already have what it takes. We're already prepared. Change that. So ask yourself out loud, or just set the intention, as I listen to the rest of this podcast, I would like to learn whatever I can pick up that's new, that I can apply. It can be as simple as that. And I do this when I'm having conversations with new people. I do this when I am having a conversation with Tony about something I'm not familiar about, or I am stuck in an area where I am stuck and I need a different way of approaching it. I know what I know. I know that I can apply what I know and get certain results. But I'm not looking for those results. I'm looking for something different, right? We're here looking for something different. We're here looking to upgrade and elevate the way we think. We're looking for new solutions. We're looking for new results. Those new results are going to be found when we apply new habits. We can't apply new habits unless we know what we want to change. So results is the goal. Habits is a way of getting to the goal, but understanding even what that goal is and what those habits are is where we need to scale back and take a look of the bigger picture. It's almost like you're in an airplane, right? Going further and further and further away as you're on takeoff, and all of a sudden the town looks smaller and smaller, and people start to look like ants, and everything gets smaller and smaller, but you're getting a bird's eye view of the town, of your space. Same thing here. You're able to take a step back and get a bird's eye view. Is what you're doing right now, is it serving you? All right, let's think about that. We get up each day, we go through our morning routine, we go to work, or we work on our business, whichever, or even we work on our family. I don't care how you label it. You're still doing something, right? Or maybe you want to be doing something and you don't know what it is to do. You have to have some sort of roadmap. What is it that you're doing, and why are you doing it? Are you working for a paycheck? Okay. What are you doing with that paycheck? Maybe you don't know. Maybe you just pay your bills and that's as simple as that. Or are you working for a goal? Are you working for a paycheck to save up to buy a house? Are you working for a paycheck to save up for retirement? What is your purpose of working? And yes, we all need money. We all need money to survive. That's not what I'm saying. We all need to live life, not just to put the roof over our heads. Too many of us realized throughout COVID that we were not financially prepared. More importantly, though, more of us were not prepared for this sudden push of retirement that we were all in. And it wasn't a permanent retirement. This was a temporary retirement. But we were not emotionally prepared. So not only were our finances affected, our mental health was affected. What we could and could not do was affected. And it happened for most of us, it happened overnight. Taking from that experience, now if we were to go back, bird's eye view, and see how we can elevate and upgrade that experience so we're a little bit more prepared for next time, whatever next time might be. Is it going to be the second wave? Is it going to be a change of jobs? Is it going to be a change of relationships? Is it a change of dynamics? A new house? I don't know what it's going to be for you. But once we assess the situations that we just completed, we can get a bird's eye view as to where we want to change and see if we're still heading in that right direction. So finances, we can all agree that people were hit financially over COVID, right? So we still had to pay bills. We figured that out. There was a couple of choices when it came to paying bills, right? When it comes to finances in general, a couple things. If you're not making enough money, you need to spend less, make more, or do both. I'm sure most of us applied those strategies to the finances. But maybe you didn't. Maybe this is the first time you've heard of these ideas. Because maybe you weren't in the right place. You were in survival mode. And that could be the case, and there's nothing wrong with that. We all did what we needed to do to get by, and some of us were not out of the woods yet. Actually, I would say all of us were not out of the woods yet because we really don't know what the future might look like. And some people are afraid to go into stores, and that's okay, but it means you're retreating to your household. So when it came to your finances, how can you upgrade and elevate the way you think when it comes to COVID or uncertainty? Let's rename that uncertainty moving forward. So I guess where I'm going with this is personally, I wanted to make sure that there's more money in the bank account. Personally, I want to make sure that there's less debt. Personally, I want to make sure that I have things that I can afford to do even when money is tight. That is important to me. And it does not have to be online shopping. It does not have to be going out to spend money. But if I want to buy something even small, or if I'm setting up a reward for some of the habits I'm doing, that is important to me. I chase goals. I love that. That excites me. So one of the things I've done in this area is I've really paid a closer attention to my finances when it comes to upgrading and elevating the way I think. You know, it's on my calendar twice. If I can't make one appointment on my calendar, I have the second one as a backup. And that's going to change shortly where I'm just going to have the one day and there will be no backup, because having a backup plan is an excuse to fall down. You're preparing yourself to fail. So there's no backup plan. You have no choice, right? So as of next week, as I'm assessing my calendar and my schedule, I will have one day to go over my finances. That is one way I'm going to be making some changes. I am also going to be reserving money to put aside to expedite paying off whatever debt that I have. Okay, that's my personal choice. Then it's going into savings. If you don't have debt, great. If you just want to put the money into savings, great. Because I've learned what I can and can't get by on. So I know what my threshold is from the last couple months. In times of uncertainty, I know exactly what I need to get by on. So I know exactly what I need to do because I know where I'm going. There's going to be some bumpy roads and there's going to be some changes that are going to have to happen. But if I want to eliminate my debt and I want to save money and be prepared for the times of uncertainty, those are some ways I need to elevate and upgrade the way I think. And it starts off with an assessment. And after that, I learn what kind of knowledge I can apply to make some differences. So you all know that I'm really big into personal development. I'm also big into networking. So whenever I'm talking to somebody new, I love to learn from them. You know, if it's a new book that they're suggesting, I tripped over that. If it's a new book I am suggesting, I write it down. If it's a new podcast they're suggesting, I write it down, especially if we've connected on the call, because they are referring these things that I can learn from. So those are two ways I upgrade and elevate the way I think, especially when it comes to finances. I hear people say and do because this is an area of my life I want change. That's just one area, right? I've also mentioned that my health is an area I am a lot more aligned and in tune with my health. And I've always been, and you know that, but it looks different now than what it did a year ago. Nothing wrong with that. My health goals are still my health goals. But my health goal, to be perfectly honest, is to stress less and to enjoy more. What does that look like for me? It's going to be completely different than what that looks like for you. But that looks like for me are slower, intentional movements versus high-intensity workouts. That's what it looks like for me. Maybe you're on the other side of that coin and you've been doing things like yoga and Pilates and walking and you're looking to step up your game and you're maybe nice and chill, or maybe you're a walking stress case. I don't know. You know best, but I'm here to help you, right? You can always message me and we can talk about this. There are different modalities throughout different times of our life that all play a role. When it comes to fitness trends, there are so many different things to do, and there's not necessarily, just like healthy eating, there's not necessarily a right or a wrong way. You need to find what works for you. I can tell you what works for me. Counting macros works for me. Eating for energy works for me. Moving in a way that makes my body feel good works for me. Being in control of my finances and my priorities work for me. When those basic elements are done, actually, there's a couple more things I need to add. When I do my affirmations in my journaling, when I read daily, and when I spend time with my family, when all of those things are done, it doesn't matter the order. Typically, it's before, everything but my family is before the day even starts. But it truly doesn't matter the order. When all of those things are done, I am very satisfied. I am very happy, which means I can upgrade and elevate my life because there is room. I've taken care of myself. I've done what I need to do to feel good and to move the needle towards progression. Okay. That comes with discipline. That comes with courage. And that comes with the willingness to change. All of those components are not easy. Whenever you're looking for some change in your life, you have to be disciplined at applying those new changes and figuring out what works for you. You have to be willing to accept and hear that there are new changes and new opportunity. And you have to understand that there's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be plenty of mountains in your way. And there's going to be some things you do well and some things you don't do as well. And that applies with new activity. That applies with budgeting. That applies with healthy foods that you're going to try to eat, or maybe tracking your foods. But when you track your activity, when you do the work, you will get the results. It boils down to consistency. So, consistency is the result of the action that you need to do on a regular basis to upgrade and elevate the way you think. It could be a matter of calling your credit card company if you're looking for a difference and asking if they can bring the interest rate down by 1 or 2%. That easy. And then maybe you can go ahead and add $5 a week on top of your minimum payment, $5 a week to a credit card to bring down the balance. Between dropping the interest rate and bringing it down by $5 a week, could there be a bit of a difference? Absolutely. You're going to see progress in that one area. And then you can assess it after a month and see where you're at. So how can you do that? You can pick up some books. There's an amazing book called The Latte Factor. Amazing, amazing, amazing. It's a quick read. It's a story. It's engaging about the finances. And he does a really, really good job of telling a story about money and how you can live the life of your dreams with some subtle changes. And that's what I'm here to coach with you about on all of the healthy habits that we talk about and all of the different podcasts and the topics. Whether it's now or in the future, it's all about subtle changes that you can do to make a big difference in your life. So there's one topic we haven't touched on or elaborated on, we've touched on, and that is relationships. To upgrade and elevate the way you think, you're going to want to start to talk to and connect to other people. Other people that are at where you want to be. So let's just say we've all heard of the saying, keeping up with the Joneses, right? They live in fancy houses. They're probably up the wazoo in credit card debt. And I don't mean for this episode at all to be about finances. That just seems to be the topic that I had used today. But you all know that's one of the topics I tend to talk about. Mindset, finances, relationships, food, they're all a form of currency. They all take time and energy in exchange for something. So my examples will always be one or the other, but something that we can all relate to. So keeping up with the Joneses, you've heard of that. You know that in many cases they're always buying and spending and putting into their house and putting into the car and going on vacations, and they have the best of the best. So we think. We have no idea what their debt load is. We have no idea what their stress load is. We have no idea what their day-to-day is. We just know that they have nice things. Is that what you want? Do you want those nice things? Or do you want those nice things to go with the nice life? You can have it, and you can have it all. But you can't have it all doing what you're doing now. You need to make some changes. Find out how those people think. And you don't want to be necessarily keeping up with the Joneses in all areas. you want to find out the areas that work for you. For some of you, it might just be a matter of being connected to other like-minded people, so you're learning from them and you're getting some of their ideas. I believe most of you have all heard me say, we are the sum of the 5 people we hang out with the most. If you've been hanging out with the same people since high school, you are just like them. If you have not extended your social circle and you've only been hanging out with the same people on average since high school, and for some of us in our 40s, that's going back 25 years, have you all grown together? Have you all changed together? You've all changed. You've all grown. But if you're still hanging out with the same people, what you're saying is that you have grown and changed together, which I don't see as possible, because we all have different stories. We all have different adventures. We all have different roadblocks, and we all have different ways of skinning the proverbial cat, right? There's more than one way to skin a cat. Excuse the expression, but it's the best one I can think of. So when we change our social circle, and believe me, we're not discarding the friends that have been loyal, that have been there forever. We are adding to. We are adding to our portfolio. And if you think of our portfolio in terms of the circle, the wheel of life, not the circle of life, but the wheel of life, where there are many different categories, we're just adding on to that. If we're hanging out with people that now read fine books and sit there and talk about it at a book club, well, we're learning different ideas from them. We're learning their why. We're reading something we maybe would never have chosen before. And that's part of the relationship wheel of life. But with that relationship change comes a personal growth change. With the personal growth change comes a desire for more change. More change, it's what's going to help you get to your desired destination. Again, whether it's to be debt-free, whether it's to have more savings in your bank account, whether it's to have more people to hang out with on a regular basis because you just want to mix it up. Or maybe it's to help you align more with your wellness goals, your weight loss goals. Maybe now you've realized that that's a new book club that you went to, that there's a lady in the room or a guy in the room who can certainly speak with you about the book, but they're also an avid runner and you've been thinking of running. Now she's willing to go out and just hang out with you and teach you how to run or be your running partner. And this relationship, this friendship would never have happened if you didn't expand your social circle. That's what's really important here is the expansion. When you're willing to expand and stretch out, and if you could see my hands, it's kind of entertaining because it's like I've got a circle in the middle and then I am reaching out as far as my hands will go and I am coming back in. And I'm doing this as I'm talking about reaching out and expanding. Because we don't know what else is out there and we don't know what else we can learn. I learn something new every single day. Things that I thought I knew, I open my heart and my mind up to learn more. And there's nothing wrong with the foundation of knowledge that I knew. I am just prepared and open, and I'm very, very curious as to what else is possible. So let's go back for a second and think about our lives 17, 18 weeks ago in our lives now. So different for some people, right? It's a new job for some people. It's maybe a new place to live for some people. Their day-to-day could be completely different. I'm not sure what it looks like for you. I know for me, you all know the studio closed. I moved everything online, completely switched platforms, not just by being online, but now more of a mindset coach versus running fitness classes. Thankfully, I had my certifications as a life coach. I did my NLP. I was still already a healthy eating and weight loss coach, and I'm still a trainer. That doesn't change. My experience doesn't change me. What I do with that experience, what I do with that knowledge helps me to grow. When I grow, I am elevating. I am upgrading. I am open to more. For me, that's exciting because financially, there was one part that had affected everybody, right? Some people went suddenly without a paycheck, and I was one of them. Some people still are trying to figure out what to do with their money and how to breathe, and we all had to make decisions along the way. But the second part to that that's just as important is, what did we do with our time? Go back and do an audit of the last 17, 18 weeks. Where did you spend your time? Did you just get through? And that's okay if you did. Believe me, as we're moving forward with this conversation, there is absolutely no judgment. None whatsoever. This was a grieving of sorts. This was a death of what we knew of sorts. Everything is going to be different for everybody. And I mean that 100%. What's happened to me and the way I may have reacted is completely different than the way some of you may have reacted. Of course, I grieved a little bit, and I had to make some tough decisions, just like you did. But let's not obsess, please. Let's assess what worked and what didn't work and what we'd like to see done differently and what we would like to see happen in the future. If you take this last experience as a way of an opportunity for improvement, what I've learned myself is I don't have a lot of hobbies. Well, I do and I don't. I have a lot of things I like to do. I'm much further ahead in that area than I was a couple of years ago when I joked when all I like to do is work and work out. Now there's a lot of different creative things that I do, and I liked golfing with my dad, and I really enjoy golfing, actually. And I have a list: kayaking, horseback riding, belly dancing. These are all of the things I have discovered and put on my whiteboard that I want to do more often and that I can do with my ankles. But I need to save money for those things. So what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to either work harder or work smarter. I'm going to work smarter, but I'm going to set some goals because some of my goals are to eliminate my debt. But I can still have fun as I'm eliminating my debt. I can still make room for a $30 or $40 horseback riding lesson, maybe once a month. Or maybe once next month, once I've got a certain amount saved to do that. I can take those habits and those rewards we talk about so I can add more fun into my life. Yes, I'm living the life I want to be living on a regular basis. Yes. But when I upgrade and elevate the way I think, because of all of my reading that I do, the personal development that I do, the people I connect with, the fact that I open up every day with curiosity and wonder, and I always ask the question, why? And I sometimes I prefix it by saying, I'm just curious. I don't want them thinking I'm why and questioning what they're doing, but why out of curiosity. If you try that, you're going to learn so much more. And one of the things that helped me a couple of years ago, and I was very surprised by this, I really upgraded and elevated the way I think when I first got into an MLM. What? I just said it. What? I know, I did. I was with an MLM for about a year. Actually, I was with a whole bunch years prior. But last year I devoted a full year to one, and it worked. It was great. But what I loved, one of the things I found love with was how much I could learn and how much I could grow. You know, I could learn about what it was like to be distracted by my goals and what it was like to focus on a project at a time and learn things about other people's perspective. And those are the points that I apply to my life now still. And yes, I'm in 2 MLMs now, if you will. But I'm in there for different purposes. You know, I truly, truly, truly believe that we all need 3 to 5 sources of income, probably 7 sources of income. But let's start with 3 to 5. And so for me, my purpose in joining some side hustles is expanding my network, personal development, to help me elevate and upgrade the way I think. And of course, more importantly, to stand behind the products I am proud to carry. So this is in conjunction with me running the business, right? This is in conjunction to me being a wellness strategy coach. But if you've got goals, you need to find a different way of getting to those goals if what you're doing right now isn't working. And that's what today's episode is all about. There are so many free resources. Free. This podcast is completely free. There are books I can recommend and refer, and you can probably get the books from a library or borrow them from a friend. All of that's free. Having conversations with people is free. but they are priceless. All of these things are priceless. And depending on what your goals are, and this is where working with me comes in really handy, because with one session, we can identify 1 or 2 goals that you can work on. And we could circle back the next month and do a different session and see what's worked. Or there's the group wellness coaching. I have so many different options, not so many to be overwhelmed, but I do have different options for people to help you awaken your magic in the areas that you want to make change, in the areas that you want to upgrade and elevate the way you think. Maybe you're looking at moving into a neighborhood like the Joneses. I really hope I'm not the only one old enough to think about keeping up with the Joneses, but I grew up with that saying, so I'm sure we can all relate. And if not, reach out to me and I can help with this. But maybe for some of you, getting a house in that neighborhood matters. For whatever reason, it matters. I can help you get there, but I can help you get there. You can help you get there for free. It's just a matter of rethinking, looking at things from a different perspective. Do the bird's eye view. It's amazing what you will discover when you track, when you have a roadmap, and when you enjoy the journey. Because when you enjoy the journey and add some of those rewards that I talked about a few minutes ago, horseback riding, golfing, belly dancing, kayaking, whatever it might look like to you, those are just some of the things I know I can do with my ankles the way they are, on top of the things I'm doing right now. I'm not going to do them every day. Maybe I'll do horseback riding in the fall. These are my personal goals or personal rewards I have set up. I'm not sure yet when I'm going to apply them or how, but I know they're going to be associated to some of my financial goals. That I do know, because I have a bullseye there that I'm working on. And I will be happy when that's the case. So if that means working smarter, fine. There's going to be ways where I can work smarter. There's going to be better systems. Even factories and businesses put lean operations in place. They're called Kaizens. It's for betterments and improvements within your environment. And I know some factories in particular will pay people for coming up with new ideas. They will pay them, they will reward them, whatever it looks like. But they will pay people, so their employees, something to help them streamline their processes, to make it easier, to make it more efficient, to make it more streamlined, and to help them get to their end result better. Well, your end result is to enjoy life as you're working towards your goals. It's not just about the destination. If you're completely just focused on the destination, you're going to not be able to sustain it for the long run. And that's what we need, because whether it's finances, whether it's fitness, whether it's friendships, you're not looking to just drop and move on. You're looking to make subtle changes and keep what's good in your life good in your life. You just want to enhance what's good and make it better. Keep the good. Keep the good, get the great, get the best. Whatever you want to label it. But you've changed. You've changed from 4 weeks ago. You've changed from 6 months ago. And you should change. You should always be evolving and growing. How's that? Okay, I'm not going to keep you. Know that I offer DIY, which is do-it-yourself type products and services that are normally around $15 to $20 a month. I also have group packages. I also have one-on-one coaching packages. So if there's any questions at all how I can help you elevate and upgrade the way you think, please reach out and let me know. We can certainly set up a one-on-one call where I can help you put some ideas in a perspective. I would be your bird's eye view. We can lock arms, find the best program for you, and you can get started with making some subtle changes to help you enjoy the journey, because that's what it's all about. That's exactly what we're trying to do with this lifestyle that we're trying to live. Have yourself a fantastic week. Remember, you are strong. Stop getting distracted by things that have nothing to do with your goals. So figure out what your goals are. And every day, wake, hustle, and repeat. Have yourself a wonderful, wonderful week, everybody.